wish I could stop that guy. I wish that guy died, but he's here to stay.
Oh, bro, you can't.
If you think I'm too old for this fight, you need to come tell me in my face. Whoa.
Mike Tyson just flipped the boxing world on its head, again. Just when you thought you'd seen it all, Iron Mike pulled off something that took the chaos to an entirely new level. It all started at that now infamous press conference. Jake Paul was on a rampage, throwing shots like it was open mic night. He even went so far as to mock Tyson's recent illness, a move that stunned the crowd and instantly turned the atmosphere toxic. Fans weren't having it. The audience erupted, unleashing a wave of boos and brutal clapbacks that left Jake looking rattled. But Tyson, he didn't say a word. Not a flinch, just calm, cold silence. People thought maybe Jake had finally gotten the upper hand, that Tyson was slipping or maybe just too tired to fight back. But that's where they were dead wrong. Turns out Tyson wasn't outplayed. He was outplanning. Fast forward to August 22nd, Logan Paul's podcast. Tyson shows up, calm as ever, and drops a bombshell. With a smirk, he laid out his master plan. And it was absolutely insane. While Jake had been running his mouth, Tyson had been plotting something far bigger, something no one saw coming. And just like that, the game changed again. But before we dive into the madness of what just went down, let's rewind for a second, because to really grasp the chaos, you need the full backstory. It all started on August 18th at what was supposed to be a routine press conference, just another promotional pit stop on the road to the big fight. But Jake Paul? He had something very different in mind. In true Jake Paul fashion, he wasn't just throwing verbal jabs, he was swinging for the knockout with his mouth. Determined to dominate the spotlight, Jake came in hot, unloading insult after insult aimed squarely at Mike Tyson. And he wasn't holding back. Jake wasn't just confident, he was overconfident. Strutting across the stage like he already won, grinning like the king of the circus. You could practically see the arrogance dripping off him, as if he believed words alone could shake Tyson or land some kind of final blow before they ever touched gloves. But little did Jake know. Tyson was already playing a much bigger game.
New York, shut the fuck up, New York. Hey, boo yourselves. Boo yourselves, New York. Hey, New York, New York, New York, you're just like Mike Tyson. You were good 20 years.
I mean, it's one thing to trash talk an opponent, but this was Mike Tyson we're talking about. A living legend, a name etched into the very foundation of boxing history. And yet, Jake kept pushing, kept mocking. It was as if he was completely blind to the giant he was provoking, like he had no idea what kind of fire he was playing with. And then, there was Tyson. Now, anyone who knows anything about Mike Tyson would have expected fireworks. A sharp comeback, maybe a verbal uppercut to put Jake in his place. But not this time. Tyson didn't say a word. He just stood there, calm, quiet, and completely still. No reaction, no comeback, just that stone-cold stare. And that silence, that was the scariest part.
I don't know. Say that again. That's interesting.
Everyone in the room was bracing for Tyson to explode, to say something, anything. But he didn't. The silence was deafening, and it left people wondering, was Mike holding back? Was there a deeper reason he wasn't biting? The tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife. It became clear very quickly that Tyson wasn't playing Jake's game, and that shift in energy, it rattled the room, especially Jake. While Jake filled the air with noise, Tyson's stillness spoke volumes. His calm presence was like a quiet storm brewing beneath the surface. It was as if he was saying, I don't need to talk. My legacy speaks louder than anything you could ever say. Tyson's silence wasn't surrender. It was strategy. A psychological counterpunch. By refusing to engage, he flipped the script and left Jake spinning, unsure how to deal with someone who wouldn't bite the bait. Jake, who's built a career out of throwing opponents off with his mouth, suddenly found himself in unfamiliar territory. You could see the frustration creeping in, masked behind forced laughs and louder jabs. And just like that, Tyson had done what he's always done best, gotten inside his opponent's head, and he didn't even have to break a sweat.
Is he gonna fight to make this happen.
Let's break down Jake Paul's strategy, because at first glance, it's the same playbook he's always used. Trash talk is his trademark. It's how he built his brand. In the world of social media, controversy fuels relevance. Love him, or hate him, if you're talking about Jake Paul, he's winning, and he knows it. But this time, something felt off. There was a different tone to his antics, sharper, more frantic, like he understood this wasn't just another headline fight. This was the fight, the one that could define his entire career. Going up against Mike Tyson isn't just about clout, it's about legacy. And Jake's usual bravado? It felt forced, like he was trying to hype himself up as much as the audience. Deep down, you could almost sense he was unsure. And if anyone thought Tyson's silence at that August 18th press conference meant he didn't have anything to say, they were dead wrong. Tyson was just waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Enter Logan Paul's podcast. Just days after the press conference chaos, Tyson made a surprise appearance, and it was masterful. The timing couldn't have been better. As the hype started to cool, Tyson reignited the fire, but this time he wasn't just a topic of conversation, he was controlling it. And let's not ignore where this happened. Logan Paul's show. Jake's brother, with their dad, Greg Paul, in the mix too. At first, Logan was beaming, honored to have a legend like Tyson on the mic. But that smile didn't last long. Tyson didn't warm up or ease in. He went straight for the jugular. His words? They hit harder than any punch.
Shit talkers get all the money. The shit talkers get all the attention.
Yeah.
The shit talkers get everything. We get a bad rap, but we get everything else.
That wasn't just a jab at Jake Paul's persona. It was a full-blown uppercut to everything he stands for. Mike Tyson, a man who earned his legacy through grit, discipline, and undeniable talent, didn't hold back. He basically called Jake out for being a performer, not a fighter, a guy more interested in clout and cash than the craft and code of boxing. And Logan, the guy who was all smiles at the start of the episode, that grin disappeared fast. As Tyson laid down truth after truth, Logan's expression shifted from excitement to visible unease. It was like he suddenly realized he hadn't invited a podcast guest. He'd let a lion into the living room, and the lion wasn't there to play nice. Then there was Greg Paul, sitting just a few feet away, watching it all unfold. When Logan turned to his dad for some levity or maybe backup, Greg's response only made things more awkward.
Nervous for Jake?
Greg didn't even flinch before he fired back.
Yeah, it's a fight. And this is the baddest motherfucker on the planet. So yeah. Hell yeah.
Whenever Greg Paul talks about his son's upcoming fight with Mike Tyson, there's a look in his eyes that says it all. Pure admiration. Not just for Jake, but for Tyson himself. You can tell Greg isn't just playing the role of supportive father. He's a genuine fan of the sport and the legend Tyson represents. This isn't just about backing his son. It's about acknowledging the sheer weight of history Jake is stepping into. Greg's not some clueless dad on the sidelines. He's someone who's watched Tyson's rise, his reign, and the wreckage. He's left behind in the ring. He knows exactly what kind of storm Jake is walking into on November 15th. It's like watching someone willingly step into a lion's den, and Greg understands the danger better than most. Then, during his powerful sit-down on Logan Paul's podcast, Tyson said something that sent chills through everyone listening. It wasn't about fear of another fighter. It wasn't even about losing. Tyson, this man whose presence alone can shake a room, admitted what truly scares him. Himself.
You're scary.
I'm just that kind of person, you know what I mean? I'm just a scary guy. That's who I am. This is my nerves, my scared, because I don't want to get angry or anything. That's why I'm scared.
Tyson, pulling back the curtain on his own mind, gave everyone a glimpse of the monster he's kept caged all these years. Tyson being scared of himself isn't exactly news to anyone who's followed his career closely. It's a recurring theme, shaped by countless battles both inside the ring and within his own mind. So when Logan Paul asked Tyson why he stayed silent during the August 18th press conference, his answer wasn't just surprising, it was revealing. Tyson explained that his silence wasn't because he was caught off guard or had nothing to say. No, it was a deliberate act of control. One of the most infamous moments in Tyson's history of trash talk came before his 2002 fight with Lennox Lewis. In a fit of rage, Tyson threatened to eat Lewis's children. Yeah, you read that right. He declared, I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious, the most ruthless champion there's ever been. My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children. These weren't just words to intimidate. They were a raw glimpse into the primal, almost animalistic mindset Tyson tapped into before fights. But here's the thing. Tyson's ability to unleash such terrifying rhetoric is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it's a powerful weapon that gets into his opponent's heads, mentally breaking them down before a single punch is thrown. On the other hand, it's a reminder of the darkness Tyson himself fears. He knows that once he unleashes that side of himself, there's no turning back. That's why his silence at the press conference was so significant. Tyson wasn't quiet because he had nothing to say. He was quiet because he knew that if he opened his mouth, the full force of his intensity would come roaring out, and Jake Paul wouldn't stand a chance. Throughout his career, Tyson's talk has crossed lines no one else would dare to cross. Before his 1986 fight with Trevor Berbick, Tyson famously said, I'm going to make you my girlfriend. Crude, shocking, and absolutely effective. Berbick, like so many before him, was defeated before the first punch even landed. Tyson's words have always been a weapon, wielded with terrifying precision, making him a figure of both fear and fascination. But as Tyson pointed out on Logan Paul's podcast, there's a world of difference between him and Jake Paul.
Overconfidence with anybody in life.
Tyson drew a clear line in the sand between his approach and Jake's. For Tyson, confidence isn't about talking big. It's about doing big. His entire career has been built on that principle. He doesn't need to run his mouth to prove he's the best. His record and legacy speak volumes for him. This belief in actions over words is what makes Tyson so terrifying. When he says he's scared of himself, he's not exaggerating. He's being brutally honest. He knows his words can shake people, but his actions have the power to destroy. That's why he holds back, choosing his moments with the precision of a surgeon. Because when Tyson finally lets loose, it's not just his opponent who should be afraid, it's everyone watching.
Could stop that guy. That guy haunts me. That's I wish I could stop that guy. I wish I could stop that guy. I wish that guy died, but he's here to stay.
He knows that every time he loses control, every time that darker side takes over, it leaves a scar that never fully heals. The aftermath of unleashing that part of himself is a burden Tyson has had to bear again and again, and it's one he's no longer willing to carry. That's why he's so cautious, why he's learned to hold back and choose his moments carefully. Tyson's fear isn't just about Jake, it's about himself. He knows that if he loses control, if that side of him emerges, it could mean the end of everything, and that's a risk Tyson isn't sure he's ready to take.